Mimi and Richard Farina did it. For those who don't know, Mimi was Joan Baez's sister. And soon after Richard Farina and Mimi recorded this, he died in a motorcycle accident, I believe, on 101 in California. But I've always liked it. But Judy Collins wrote it, I guess. Called Pack Up Your Sorrows. No use crying, talking to a stranger, naming the sorrows you've seen. Too many sad times, too many bad times, nobody knows what you mean. But if somehow you can back up your sorrows and bring them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use them, bring them all to me. No use rambling, walking in the shadows, trailing a wandering star. No one beside you, no one to guide you, and nobody knows where you are. But if somehow you could pack up your sorrows and bring them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use them, bring them all to me. No use rambling, walking in the shadows, trailing a wandering star. No one beside you, no one to guide you, and nobody knows where you are. So if I could, you could pack up your sorrows and send them all to me. You would lose them, I know how to use them, give them all to me. No use roaming, lying by the roadside, seeking a satisfied mind. Too many highways, too many byways, nobody's walking behind. So if you could pack up your sorrows and send them all to me, you would lose them. I know how to use them, send them all to me.
I think Mimi and Kareem.
Carl, you're next.
Okay, I'm gonna do Green Rocky Road. When I go to Boca, need no carpet on my floor. You come along, follow me. We'll go down to Galilee. Oh, green rocky road. Promenading green. Tell me who you love. Tell me who you love. See that crow up in the sky. He don't walk, he just fly. He don't walk, he don't run. He keeps flapping to the sun. Oh, green rocky road. Promenading green. Tell me who you love. Tell me who you love. Little Miss King, you run into the wall. Don't you stumble, don't you fall. Don't you think, don't you shout. When I sing, come running out. Oh, green rocky road. Promenading green. Tell me who you love. Tell me who you love. Hooker-tooker, soda cracker. Does your mama chew tobacco? If your mama chews tobacco, well, hooker-tooker, my soda cracker. Oh, green rocky road. Promenading green. Tell me who you love. Tell me who you love. When I go to Baltimore, leave no carpet on my floor. You come along, follow me. We'll go off to Galilee.
Murray.
Okay. Uh, we're about about a week and a half from Purim, from the end of Purim, and we're being approached by Passover and Easter fast. But after Purim was over, I found a song in English, a Purim song in English that I had never seen or heard before. And it's a pretty fun, I mean, I know the melody because the melody is based on another melody, a Hasidic ditty called Rab Elimelech. And that melody is pretty well known. But this song is called Elimelech of Gilhafen. Gilhafen is someplace, I don't know where that is, but somewhere in Eastern Europe, probably. And the original song, Elimelech, is about a Hasidic rabbi who's sitting by himself in his study, and all of a sudden he's getting these mystical and metaphysical imaginations where he's transported up to heaven by angels or something, and all kinds of things like that. But this thing has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with the melody and the name Elimelech. And Elimelech, and this is a pretty whimsical and humorous song. All right, so I just have to, there's one word that appears, which is a Yiddish word, so I will translate that. A lot of you know already what a grogger is. A grogger, for those of you who don't know or forgot, is one of the noisemakers that they use on Purim to drown out the name of Haman or Haman, who was the wicked man in that story. So that's what a grogger is. All right. Elimelech of Gilhafen drank l'chaim once too often, drank l'chaim and became a trifle gay. So he put his studies by, tipped his hat across one eye, and he called for the fiddlers to play. Well, the fiddler took his fiddle, put his bow across the middle, and the fiddle fiddles out a little tune. When the fiddler with his fiddle, 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 diddle, diddle, Elimelech bounced just like a toy balloon. Elimelech, feeling frisky, took another drop of whiskey. Twice too often down his gullet it did go. Called each friend and each relation to his Purim celebration. Then he roared for the piper to blow. Well, the piper tweedle tweeted and the fiddle it repeated, fiddle diddle, fiddle diddle, fiddle dee. When the piper tweedle tweeted and the fiddle it repeated, Elimelech was beside himself with glee. Then he drank 3 times too often, and his eyes began to soften, and the tears began to trickle from his chin. Oh, his tears, they were a-buzzing, till a sympathetic cousin whispered, "Please let the drummer begin." Well, the drummers drum me beated, and the piper tweedle tweeted, and the fiddle it repeated its encore. The drum was tweedle tweeting, and the fiddle it was beating. Elimelech, fast asleep, began to snore. When the drum starts tweedle tweeting, and the fiddle it is beating, and the piper gaily fiddles fiddle dee, and your head it starts a whirling like a grogger that is twirling, then they're playing Elimelech's melody. Oh, it happened in Gilhofen just from drinking thrice too often. And there's only one thing more that must be said. At your Purim celebration, use a little moderation, or you'll wind up with a grogger for a head. That's it.
Very good. Very good.
Very amusing, very amusing.
Excellent. Okay.
They don't know who wrote that, by the way.
He's hiding.
Okay, I think Daniel, I think you're next. Let's Unmute you.
I want to do Love in Vain by Robert Johnson. Well, I followed her to the station with my suitcase in my hand. Followed her to the station with my suitcase in my hand. Well, it's hard to know, it's hard to tell when your love's in vain. Oh, your love's in vain. When the train pulled up to the station and I looked her in the eye. When the train pulled up from the station and I looked her in the eye. Well, I was lonesome, and I could not help but sigh. Oh, my love's in vain. Oh, my love's in vain. When the train had left the station with the two lights on behind. Train had left the station with the two lights on behind. Blue light was my blues, red light was my mind. Oh, my love's in vain. Oh, my love's in vain. Hey, oh, hey. Oh, my love's in vain. Oh, my love's in vain.
Jerry, time for you.
All right. Well, I was inspired a few minutes ago by Pat singing a Hank Williams tune. And so I'm going to do a Hank Williams tune. And I don't know this tune, but that's never stopped me before from absolutely destroying things right in front of everybody. So I don't know the tune, and I've never done the tune, but it's a great tune. So it wasn't written by Hank Williams. It was written by Leon Payne. I believe Leon Payne was the steel guitar player in Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys. But this was a big hit for Hank Williams. So it goes like this. I'm a rolling stone, all alone and lost. For a life of sin, I have paid the cost. When I pass by, all the people say, just another guy on the lost highway. Just a deck of cards and a jug of wine, and a woman's lies make a life like mine. On the day we met, I went astray, started rolling down that lost highway. I was just a lad, nearly 22, neither good nor bad, just a kid like you. And now I'm lost, too late to pray, Lord, I paid a cost on the lost highway. Now, boys, don't start to ramble round on this road of sin, or you're sorrow bound. Take my advice, or you curse the day you started rolling down that lost highway. Take it, boy. I'm a rolling stone, all alone and lost, for a life of sin. You know I paid the cost. When I pass by, all the people say, just another guy on the lost highway. When I pass by, all the people say, just another guy on the lost highway. Just another guy on the lost highway.
Attention, take off.
Full tune.
I'm just listening at this moment, anyhow.
Okay, Bob.
Oh, wait a minute, Bob. What's the weather report?
I was going to give it to you. We had some beautiful days down here. It's actually some spring-like weather. Not very often I can say the humidity is in the 30s down here.
I don't know. It looks like it's raining outside my window, but I think they've got the sprinkler system on.
And it is 78 degrees out there. Anyway, on the serious side, somebody did this song not a while ago, and it might have been Pat and Harvey, but because the war in the Ukraine is still going on, I thought I'd do Julie Gold's From a Distance. From a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to flight. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope, it's the voice of peace, it's the voice of every man. From a distance, we all have enough, and no one is in need. There are no guns, no bombs, and no diseases, no hungry mouth to feed. From a distance, we are instruments marching in a common band. It's the playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They're the songs of every man. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. From a distance, you look like my friend, even though we are at war. From a distance, I can't comprehend what all this war is for. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the hope of hopes, it's the love of loves in the heart of every man. From a distance, we are instruments marching in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They're the songs of every man. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. Here we go.
You're going to pass, Susan? Okay. Donna. By the way, Donna, I have regards from you. You know Mike from Fern Forest,
Yeah.
who plays basketball? He happens to be our cardiologist. He's so fan. We visited him this week. So he says we have someone who's at your group. This nice blonde lady who always sings about horses.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
real nice guy.
Yeah, they have that going on this evening from 5 to 7 at Fern Forest. But I was going to go, but I don't feel up to it. And I tried to sing this morning at the homeless breakfast, thinking I would sing 3 songs, and rather I only sang one, and I got halfway through it and started coughing. So here I am. I picked a short one that I wrote when I was around 16 or 17 years old. I call it Light, and I named it after an experience that I had. So let me see if I can do it for you without the interruption of coughing. In a forest dark and dim, I saw a light above a limb, gently shining in the dark, taking away all gloom. I looked above and then looked up. To my surprise, no more. I gazed again at the shining tree, not uttering a word. I saw no, I heard no, not a word except the wind that purred. I looked again at the shining tree and knew the voice I heard. Come here, my child, come to me, love and know my word.
Okay. You said you're going to be leaving early today, right? Donna? Okay. Okay. Next is Bob Winkler. What's the weather in Oregon, Bob?
It's a nice day today. It's actually sunny. It's 60 degrees, but it's about 90% humidity here. Anyway, looking at what's going on in the world still, I thought I would bring back this song again by The Fray. Be still and know that I'm with you. Be still and know that I am here. Be still and know that I'm with you. Be still and know. When darkness comes upon you and covers you with fear and shame, be still and know that I'm with you, and I will say your name. If terror falls upon your bed and sleep no longer comes, remember all the words I said. Be still and know. And when you go through the valley and shadow comes down from the hill, if morning never comes to be still, be still, be still. If you forget the way to go and lose where you come from, if no one is standing beside you, be still, be still, be still. Be still and know that I'm with you. Be still and know I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And now we go over to England, Bill Pardon.
Right, I'm going to try and remember a song which was by Cyril Tawney, and it originates in the island of Malta. And back in the 1950s, it was still a very important strategic base, and the ships and submarines from the British and the American navies were all over the place. This is one of those things where, on the British boats at least, the sailors, when they'd be out drinking at night, would get picked up. There would be a ship sent from the boat. If they weren't on that, they were in trouble because they wouldn't get back to their ship on time. And they'd have to hire the local taxi boats. And the reason I'm telling you this is because they are called Dysos. And Dyso is something you'll hear all the way through this song. The other thing really that's worth knowing is that, as usual, the Brits were the poor relations to the flash American sailors, because those damn Yankees not only had nylons and chocolate and chewing gum, they could also afford to go out and hire flashy American cars, which would take them and any ladies that they were interested in off to the really exotic locations on the island, which the poor old Brits on their buses and public transport could never have a hope of reaching. So this is really the basis of the song. And yeah, there was a bar that the hard up Brits used to use called Sammy's Bar because they had loads of very, very cheap wine. And I think I used to do it in a D. I'm about to find out the hard way now. If I'm wrong, this could be painful. That'll do. Going down to Sammy's Bar. Hey, the last boat's a leaving by the shore at Piatar. All away the dice so, and my real love, she was there. Hey, the last boat's a leaving, there was sand all in her hair. All away the dice so, how did sand get in your hair? Hey, the last boat's a leaving, me darling Johnny put it there. All away the dice so, been with Johnny all the day. Hey, the last boat's a leaving down at Hindtefia Bay. All away the dice so, he's a better man by far. Hey, the last boat's a leaving, he got a great big Yankee car. All away the dice so, I went out from Sammy's Bar. Hey, the last boat's a leaving, gotta hire me a Yankee car. All away the dice so, for 14 days I drank no wine. Hey, the last boat's a leaving, saving for this love of mine. All away the dice so, then one day in Paulus Square, hey, the last boat's a leaving, at her paper I did stare. All away the dice so, Johnny tried a hairpin bend. Hey, the last boat's a leaving, for my love it was the end. All away the dice so, going back to Sammy's Bar. Hey, the last boat's a leaving, I don't need no Yankee car. All away the dice so, going down to Sammy's Bar. Hey, the last boat's a leaving. Sammy's Bar.
Wow. Great memory. Wow.
Bill. And now, Anna and Ray. Good to see you.
Ah, it's nice to be here.
Happy birthday, Ray.
Thank you. I think.
Yeah, beats the alternative, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, another song about a disaster, somewhat associated with, in fact, more associated with the sea. I'm using the sea as a bit of a tenuous link with Sammy's Bar, because that was more a thing that happened on land. This is a thing that happened out at sea, and I'm sure you will know it.
I was homeward bound one night on the deep
his gallant crew. With 100 seamen he sailed away to the frozen ocean in the month of May to seek a passage around the pole, where we poor sailors do sometimes go. With cruel misfortune they vainly strove, their ships on mountains of ice were drove, where the Eskimo in his skin canoe was the only one who ever came through. Around Baffin Bay where the whalefish blow, the fate of Franklin no man can know. The fate of Franklin no tongue can tell. Lord Franklin's lost with his crew as well. And now my burden, it brings me pain. For my long lost Franklin, I'd cross the main. 10,000 pounds I would freely give to no one earth if my Franklin do live. I was homeward bound one night on the deep, swinging in my hammock I fell asleep. I dreamed a dream and I thought it true, concerning Franklin and his gallant crew.
I've heard many people do this song throughout the years, and this is the best version I ever heard of it yet.
Oh, you silver-tongued devil, you.
Check will be in the post.
Yeah.
Got one more coming yet.
Oh, yeah. The next one we're going to do is back onto dry land again. Although it starts off talking about the canals, because the song is about building railways, not the kind of railways that Ray and I build, which would fit in this room, but full-size railways, because just about as the English canal system was more or less complete and just getting to the point where it was useful, along came the railways, and nobody wanted to move things by water anymore. But the people, of course, who were building the railways had a pretty rough time of it. Their hands were always sore. They were never sure whether they were going to be attacked at night as they were sleeping, because they didn't ever have anywhere secure to sleep. The drinking water was of very questionable quality. I suppose a somewhat silver lining was that meant you kind of had to drink beer. So the chorus is, hey now, look at me here, 2 sore hands and a belly of beer, a place to lay my head in fear, working on the railway. 1830 was the time, water was in deep decline, as a way of moving goods nights on time, losing to the railways. Iron horses, coal and steam billowed through our rural scene, burying that watery dream, losing to the railways. Hey now, look at me here, two sore hands and a belly of beer, and a place to lay my head in fear, working on the railways. Hey now, look at me here, two sore hands and a belly of beer, and a place to lay my head in fear, working on the railways. Daybreak till the sun goes down, sweating blood through England's towns, with men that check we don't fall down, working on the railway. Saw the rich and I saw the poor, saw the man that I worked for, he never ever thanked me for working on the railway. Hey now, look at me here, two sore hands and a belly of beer, and a place to lay my head in fear, working on the railway. Hey now, look at me here, two sore hands and a belly of beer, and a place to lay my head in fear, working on the railway. Digging mud and blowing holes, nothing stops the railway's flow, it's in the way it has to go, working on the railway. I'll never see my young'uns crawl, never hear them cry when small, never feel their love at all, working on the railway. Hey now, look at me here, two sore hands and a belly of beer, and a place to lay my head in fear, working on the railway. Hey now, look at me here, two sore hands and a belly of beer, and a place to lay my head in fear, working on the railway. Hey now, look at me here, two sore hands and a belly of beer, and a place to lay my head in fear, working on the railway. Hey now, look at me here, two sore hands and a belly of beer, and a place to lay my head in fear, working on the railway. Thank you very much. That's called Iron Horses.
Did you write it?
Ray wrote it. I think that was pretty much just you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Ray. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're ready for Lonnie now.
Yeah, but are you ready for me? That's the question. Back in the day, it would be great to have been in the UK, because if you wanted to go to Australia or Tasmania or any of those places, you could get free transport off. All you had to do was steal a ear of corn or look funny at another man's life, and off you went. And this is a song about that, and it's called 10,000 Miles, because give or take a few, that's about how far it is from the UK to Oz. So it's called 10,000 Miles.
Oh, for a brave and a gallant ship, and a fair and a favouring breeze, for a bully crew and a captain too, for to carry me o'er the seas, for to carry me o'er the seas, me boys give me true love far away. I'm loving a ship on a government ship 10,000 miles away, and as blowing winds hi-ho, I'll roll and I will go, I'll stay no more on air and shore, for to hear the fiddlers play. I'm off on a bounding main, and I won't be back again. I'm on the move to my own true love 10,000 miles away. Me true love, she was beautiful, me true love, she was young. Her eyes were like the diamonds bright, and silvery was her tongue. And silvery was her tongue, me lads, as the big ship left the bay. Says she, will you remember me 10,000 miles away? And in the slow winds I ho, a rolling another one on her leg, and another one round her leg, me boys, as the big ship left the bay. Adieu, said she, remember me 10,000 miles away. And in the stormy winds I ho, a roving I will go. I'll stay no more on Erin shore for to hear the fiddlers play. I'm off on the bounding lane, and I won't be back again. I'm on the move to me own true love 10,000 miles away. Oh, the sun rays shine through the Dublin fog, and the Liffey run quite clear, and the ocean fine turned into wine, and I forget me beer. I forget me beer, me boys, in the land where I am today, but I'll ne'er forget me own true love 10,000 miles away. And in stormy winds I ho, a roving I will go. I'll stay no more on Erin shore for to hear the fiddlers play. I'm off on the bounding lane, and I won't be back again. I'm on the move to me own true love 10,000 miles away. And it's stormy winds I ho, a roving I will go. I'll stay no more on Erin shore for to hear the fiddlers play. I'm off on the bounding lane, and I won't be back again. I'm on the move to me own true love 10,000 miles away.
And that's why I like the keyboard so much. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Lonnie. I've heard another version, I think there are different versions, called The Walloping Window Blind. Deborah Cowan and John Roberts sing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a thief, I admit it.
I'm talking, there are a lot of different versions of it. Folk process. Okay, thank you, Lonnie. Debbie and Ron, up to you.
Hold on here.
Okay.
You know, Lonnie reminds me that, you know, if it weren't for capos, there wouldn't be any such a thing as key of A sharp. But then he says he's doing it on a keyboard, so he gets a pass. We're gonna, Ray and Anna were talking about something that happened in America too. Just about the time that the canals were becoming useful in America, the railroads came and literally overnight just busted them to nothing. But yet in the long run, the railroads went down the same path, only much slower. We had people like your Beeching creature in England that took out a third of the rails in England because, you know, he didn't want to pay a penny of tax that might benefit somebody else. The same kind of thing happened in America when they were pushing automobiles. Anyway, it also happened in Canada, and someone, what was her name? O'Rourke?
Susan O'Rourke.
Susan O'Rourke.
A few weeks ago.
O'Rourke sang a song last week or a couple of weeks ago about from a guy. It was written by a guy named David Francie, and I've never heard anybody else mention this guy. And I've only heard one song that he ever did, but it took me totally. And I heard it years ago, and I mentioned it to Deb, and I said, I can't play it. And she said, well, here's how you play it. So this is called the St. John's Train, and St. John is a port town in Newfoundland. And David Francie, who originally comes from Scotland, but has been a Canadian songwriter for 20 years or so. He wrote a song about the St. John's Train, and you'll hopefully get the gist if I can remember how to do it. Well, you can wait by the railroad track, you know, trains coming and going. You can wait, but they won't be back till you know, trains coming and going. So they took a part and the deal down at the records yard. They left me standing here dragging my heels. Time gets tough, times get hard. When you can wait by the railroad track, won't be no trains coming and going. You can wait, but they won't be back, won't be no trains coming and going. And you won't see the lights in the passenger cars, the oceans in the window frame. And you won't hear them shouting out all on board, let's go for the St. John's train. Well, you can wait by the railroad track, you know trains coming and going. You can wait, but they won't be back, won't be no trains coming and going. And you won't hear the whistle on a winter's night, echoing around the hill. And all I know is I feel alright. It's echoing, echoing. Still, when you can wait by the railroad track, won't be no train coming and going. Well, you can wait, but they won't be back, won't be no train coming and you can wait by the railroad track, won't be no train coming and going. Well, you can wait, but they won't be back, won't be no train coming and going.
Excellent.
Good to hear a new song like that. Never heard it before.
It's a wonderful song. It's on an album called Broken Screen Door. It's hard to find on YouTube, but if you can, you do yourself a favor and listen. The orchestration, the whole thing is like mind-boggling
Yes.
to me.
And he's, not so well known here in the States, but he's got a lot of albums. All right, let's see, what key is this?
Get my other mandolin here.
All right, this is an old Woody Guthrie song. This is from 1940, and I'm singing it because 2 days ago was the 111th anniversary of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory disaster, where over 170 people, I believe it was, or 140, were killed because they locked them all into the factory and there was a fire. They all died, and it's I don't know if young people learn about this today in school, but anyhow, it was a terrible thing. And the factory owners said, well, we don't want them taking breaks and we don't want them, stealing anything. So their answer was to lock all the doors and lock up the stairwells. So nobody, there were no cell phones in 1907, but anyhow, so the one thing about it is that it stirred up the forming of the ILGWU, the unions, and fighting for better working conditions. So none of these disasters could happen again, and just better working conditions in general. And although I was reading something the other day saying that, but this still goes on in other countries where, of course, they still make all our clothing, even though it says made in America. They're made in India and China and all this place where they still do this terrible stuff. But anyhow, so I haven't sung this in many years, so I hope I can get through. Anyhow, this is, so you're gonna know it, sing along. This is Woody Guthrie's Union Maid. There once was a union maid who never was afraid of the goons and the geeks and the company fakes and the deputy sheriffs who made the raid. She went in home where the meeting was called, and when the company boys came round, she always stood her ground. Oh, you can't scare me, I'm singing to the union, I'm singing to the union, I'm singing to the union. Oh, you can't scare me, I'm singing to the union, I'm singing to the union, till the day I die. This union maid was poised same as you to fight the union. Oh, you're trying to scare me. Union. I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union. Oh, you're trying to scare me. I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union. Till the day I
Thank you, Debbie. Actually, Woody borrowed the tune from a song called Red Wing. Actually,
Yes, it came from Red Wing, and that actually before that came from the Merry Farmer in 1848. So it's gone through a lot of changes. But yeah, one of Woody's most famous songs, but I'm sure no young people know this today. Very sad. They're trying to get rid of all the unions.
Well, I know it.
Yeah, well, you know. But you're old too. We're all old here.
Okay, I see
Thank
Steve. You just came in now. Are you gonna? Is anybody gonna perform there? You unmute so I can hear you.
Mike is next.
Yeah, you're gonna be performing. He said he's just on for a moment. Mike, are you gonna sing today for us or not? Okay. By the way, happy.
Happy birthday!
I see you got. I see that you got a haircut in honor of that.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Okay, Steve, are you or anybody with you going to sing today?
No, I just sent the chat. I'm just stopping in for a moment. Just
okay.
Hey, Mrs. Al. Hey, Mrs. Al.
Just to say hi.
Hey, y'all.
Okay. Good. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Neil.
I think I see Larry there also somewhere. The guitar man. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Miss. Hey.
Yeah, we're at another song swap, but it's about to close, so we're gonna leave now. And
Hi, Mrs. Al.
yeah, Laura says hi.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah,
Hey,
Laura, how you
Miss
doing,
Faye.
Okay.
Hi, Laura.
I'm fine. How you, hon?
Good to see you.
Good to
Hey,
see
you.
everybody.
Hey, Miss Faye.
Okay.
Haven't seen you guys in so long. My God.
All right, we'll go now.
Okay.
Okay,
Love
thank
you guys. Bye.
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 Okay, David. I think.
Okay, David, are you ready for us?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's hear it.
Nice to see you all.
Same here.
I sing a little Pete Seeger song that I like a lot. Don't you know it's darkest before the dawn? It's this one thought keeps me moving on. If we could heed these early warnings, the time is now, quite early morning. If we could heed these early warnings, the time is now, quite early morning. Some say that humankind won't long endure, but what makes them so doggone sure? I know that you who hear my singing could make them freedom bells keep ringing. I know that you who hear my singing could make them free. Bells keep ringing. The interlude was so I could remember the words. And wow, I know this song so well, but so while we keep on, while we live, until we have no more to give, and when these fingers can strum no longer, and the old banjo, the young one stronger, and when these fingers can strum no longer, and the old banjo, the young one stronger. And though we know it's darkest before the dawn, it's this one thought keeps us moving on. And when we fingers can strum no longer, and the old banjo, the young one stronger, and when these fingers can strum no longer, and the old banjo, the young one stronger. Sorry, I screwed that up so much. I usually don't have any trouble with it.
Okay.
Pete Seeger wrote so many songs. We don't even know how many songs he wrote. And there's some, you find some gems hidden away that are just so marvelous.
Thank you so much, David. We enjoy you. Every time you come here. Okay, I guess it's my turn now. I'm going to sing about a city, something that took place in Boston, about a notorious man called the Boston Burglar. And he was sent to a place called Charlestown. Charlestown was a famous Massachusetts penitentiary. And I thought it was way out somewhere from Boston, but actually, it actually was in Charlestown, which is right on the harbor. And in those days, the city, it was those days it was a suburb, but now the city expanded. And they talk about a eastbound train, and actually, which is today is actually the subway. So, for those of you who are familiar with the geography of Boston, the Charlestown Penitentiary was where Bunker Hill Community College is located today. Okay, so this is about somebody who did the wrong thing and he was sent there. Called the Boston Burglar. It's an old tune. I was born and raised in Boston, a city we all know well. Brought up by honest parents, so the truth to you I'll tell. Brought up by honest parents and raised most tenderly, till I became a sporting man at the age of 23. My character was taken and I was sent to jail. My friends found it that was in vain to get me out on bail. The jury found me guilty, the clerk he wrote it down. The judge then passed my sentence. I was sent to Charlestown to see my aged father standing at the bar. Likewise my aged mother tearing at her hair. Yes, tearing of her old gray locks while the tears came rolling down, saying, "Son, my son, what have you done that you're sent to Charlestown? I was put on board an eastern train on a cold December day. At every station that we passed, I'd hear the people say, there goes that Boston burglar, see how he's all bound down. For some great crime or another, he is off to Charlestown. There was a girl in Boston, a girl that I loved well. If I ever get my liberty, along with her I'll dwell. If I ever get my liberty, bad company I will shun. Likewise night prowling and gambling and drinking rum. So you who have your liberty, pray keep it if you can. Don't run around the streets at night or break the laws of man. For if you do it, you'll find yourself just all bound out like me, serving out some 20 years in the penitentiary. Okay. And with that, we start the second go-around. Pat, Harvey, take it. Everybody else, please mute.
Did you unmute? Yes.
So I unmuted. Saul, before we start, I wanted to say that when I started learning folk music, I learned that song a long time ago, but it was called the Louisville Burglar. It was virtually the same song.
Okay, thanks.
So this song is called Gold Watch and Chain, and it was recorded by Emily Lou Harris and Rick Skaggs, but it was written by, or he claims to have written it, A.P. Carter. So it's kind of a fun song.
But A.P. Carter claims to have written about half the music ever written, so. We can start.
Whenever. I'm enjoying it. Upon you my gold watch and chain love, and upon you my gold wedding ring. Upon you this heart in my bosom, only say that you love me again. How can I stay here without you? I have nothing to cheer my poor heart. This whole world would seem sad, love, without you. Tell me now that we never will part. Oh, upon you my gold watch and chain love, and upon you my gold wedding ring. I will pawn you this heart to my bosom, only say that you love me again. Take back all the gifts you have given, a diamond ring and a lock of your hair, and a card with your picture upon it. It's a face that is false but is fair. Oh, upon you my gold watch and chain love, and upon you my gold wedding ring. I will pawn you this heart in my bosom, only say that you love me again. The white rose that blooms in the garden, it grows with the love of my heart. It broke through on the day that I met you. It will die on the day that we part. Oh, I'll pawn you my gold watch and chain love, and I'll pawn you my gold wedding ring. I I will pawn you this heart in my bosom. Only say that you'll love me again. Only say that you'll love me again. Fun song.
Harvey.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to give this a shot. Ever since I got this toy, I've been trying to find songs that I can use a 12-string with. Because for 50 years I've been playing 6 strings. And this is one of them that I came up with. It's a Paul Simon song. So technically, I guess you want to call it folk rock. At least that's what Simon calls it. And it's about change of seasons, actually. Called Hazy Shade of Winter. Time, see what's become of me. While I looked around for my possibilities, I was so hard to please. Look around, leaves are brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter. Hear the Salvation Army band. Down by the riverside is bound to be a better ride than what you've got planned. Carry your cup in your hand. I look around, leaves are brown now, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter. Hang on to your hopes, my friend. That's an easy thing to say, but if your hopes should pass away, simply pretend that you can build them again. I look around, grass is high, the fields are ripe, it's the springtime of my life. Seasons change with the scenery, weaving on in a tapestry. Won't you stop and remember me at any convenient time? Funny how my memory scripts go over manuscripts of unpublished rhyme, drinking my vodka and lime. I look around, leaves are brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter. Look around, leaves are brown, there's a patch of snow on the ground. Look around, leaves are brown, there's a patch of snow on the ground. Look around, leaves are brown, there's a patch of snow on the ground.
Nice job, Harvey.
Well sung, well sung. I forgot about that song. I love that song. Thank you ever so much for reminding me of it.
Thank you, Harvey. Chip, are you going to give us another song or not? Well, I can't. Let me unmute you. Okay, well.
Next week.
Okay, next week. Okay, then. Carl, you're next. Unmute.
Howdy. I'm going to do a John Prine song called The Sound of Loneliness. Come home late, you come home early. You come home big when you're feeling small. Come home straight, you come home curly. Sometimes you don't come home at all. What in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? Broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. Well, I got a heart that burns with a fever. I got a worried and a jealous mind.
How can love last forever? Getting so left so far behind. So what in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? You're broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. It's a mighty mean and dreadful sorrow. It's crossed an evil line today. Why have you ask about tomorrow? We ain't got one word to say. So what in the world's come over you? What in heaven's name have you done? You've broken the speed of the sound of loneliness. You're out there running just to be on the run. You're out there running just to be on the run. You're out there running just to be on the run. You're out there running just to be on the run.
I heard John do it as a duet with Nancy Griffith. That really sounded beautiful. Okay, Maury, I think it's your turn now.
Yeah. Okay. This is an old traditional folk song. Although some people who sang it have taken credit for it, but it's an old song. I don't know how old, and it's a folk song, so we don't know who wrote the music or who wrote the words either. Joan Baez does a version of it. By the way, the name of the song is "Rake and Rambling Boy," and Joan Baez does a version of it in which she only has two stanzas and the choruses in between. But I found another place where I found the lyrics, and there are about 4 different stanzas or 5. And it makes a little more sense. She sings it as mostly a love song between this rambling boy and his wife. But you know, the full lyrics actually stress more the fact that this guy was a rake, which was not a pretty nice thing to be. You know, he liked to fool around with women, and he was also a rambling boy. He couldn't stay in one place. He had to travel around all the time, and he wasn't so kind to his wife, although he says that he loved her better than himself. But anyway, so I'm going to do the longer version, which is a little more true to the whole theme than the one that Joan Baez and Rambling Jack Elliott and some other people have done. Well, I am a rake and a rambling boy, and as many a city I did enjoy. And I got myself a pretty little wife, and I love her better than I love my life. Well, she was pretty, both neat and gay, cost me to rob the broad highway. Oh yes, I robbed it, and I do declare I got myself 10,000 there. Oh, well, I'm a rake and a rambling boy. There's many a city I did enjoy, and I got myself a pretty little wife, and I love her better than I love my life. Oh, many's the darkness to carry me through. My pistol, sword, and my money too. A 44 will never fail, and my true love to go my bail. Oh, well, I'm a rake and a rambling boy. There's many a city I did enjoy, and I got myself a pretty little wife, and I love her better than I love my life. My mother said she has no home. My sister said she'll stay alone. My pretty wife is in deep despair. A broken heart and a baby there. Well, I am a rake and a rambling boy, and many's a city I did enjoy, and I got myself a pretty little wife, and I love her better than I love my life. Well, when I die, don't bury me at all. Put my bones in alcohol. My 44 lay at my feet, and tell the world I'm just asleep. Well, I am a rake and a rambling boy, and many's the city I did enjoy, and I got myself a pretty little wife, and I love her better than I love my life, and I love her better than I love my life.
Thank you, Murray. And now, Daniel, are you ready for us?
Song it says was written by Lee Hayes, but it says new words and new music. So I have no idea what they meant by saying that, but it was published in Folkways in 1977. Times are getting hard, boys. Money's getting scarce. Times don't get much better, boys. Bound to leave this place. Take my true love by the hand, lead her through the town. Say goodbye to everyone, goodbye to everyone. Take my Bible from the bed, shotgun from the wall. Take old Sal and start her up, third wagon for two ball. Find the chairs and beer, by the chairs and beds on high. Nothing drag the ground. Sal can pull and we can push. We're bound to leave this town. Planted a crop a year ago, withered to the ground. Tried to get some credit, but the bankers turned me down. Gone to California, where everything is green. Gotta have the best have ever seen. Times are getting hard, boys. Money's getting scarce. If times don't get much better, boys, bound to leave this place. Take my true love by the hand, lead her through the town. Say goodbye to everyone, goodbye to everyone. Say goodbye to everyone, goodbye to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, Jerry.
I have to sympathize with David about trying to remember words to tunes that you think you know, and if this all ever ends, it's going to be a disaster for me because I have a book sitting right in front of me the whole time with words, lyrics to songs, and the truth is I used to be able to memorize things almost instantaneously when I was a younger man. And now I can't remember anything. And the truth is that also working as a cantor contributed to that, oddly enough, because I have music in front of me all the time up on the Beamer, which is, when you have it there, it becomes a crutch. But what are you going to do? This is a tune that I think most people assume or think is a traditional tune, and it is not. It is not. This tune was written... it's a country ballad. It was written in 1959 by a guy named Danny Dill, and it was recorded originally by the country star Lefty Frizzell. First time I ever saw Lefty Frizzell was on the Porter Wagoners show. That was one of the few things that you could see that had country music on it in New York here back in the 1960s, I think. But this tune's been recorded by everyone. The band recorded it, Johnny Cash recorded it, Jerry Garcia recorded it, the Chieftains even recorded it with Mick Jagger singing it. So it's got a chorus, it's got a brief chorus, and the tune it's somehow very appealing, even though it's really sick and morbid and sad and terrible and talks about cheating and. There's something about it that's very melodramatic. I suppose, like, if you're an opera fan, one of the most melodramatic operas you can watch is Tosca. And this sort of feels like Tosca to me. There's something, you can tell this is going to be a disaster right from the beginning. So your part goes like this. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, Lord, nobody sees. Nobody knows but me. Ten years ago, on a cold, dark night, there was someone killed 'neath the town hall light. There were few at the scene, but they all did agree that the man who ran looked a lot like me. Here comes your part. She walks these hills in a long black veil, visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, Lord, nobody sees. Nobody knows but me. The judge said, son, what is your alibi? If you were somewhere else, then you won't have to die. I spoke not a word, though it meant my life, for I'd been in the arms of my best friend's wife. She walks these hills in a long black veil, visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, Lord, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. The scaffold was high, and eternity near. She stood in the crowd and shed not a tear. But sometimes at night, when the cold wind moans in a long black veil, she cries o'er my bones. She walks these hills in a long black veil, visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, Lord, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Nobody knows, Lord, nobody sees, nobody knows but me.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob and Susan.
Okay. Got to say, the first time I ever heard Mick Jagger do that song, I almost drove the car off the road. Look at that. Take it away.
Oh, you're not doing one? Okay. Surprise me. Well, certainly hearing some memories today. We certainly had all those old albums of Weavers and Judy Collins and Joan Baez. Had those on the record player a lot of times back in the days.
And now we're realizing just how old all of us are.
Well, I'm going to sing a song by a singer-songwriter from up in Maine, that a friend of ours named Bob Stewart. And we know him from many times that we vacationed up there in Maine when Susan's sister had a place up there. And Bob is a very close friend of Gordon Bach. He's on some of Gordon's single albums, and Gordon would sing on his albums too. And a couple of years ago, Bob got mouth cancer, and they had to take out a lot of his tongue. And it's a shame because he can't sing like he used to. So feeling grateful. Anyway, I try and keep his music alive a little bit. This is called Billy's Boat. I remember the fair wind. Oh, one more time out among the islands. Oh, one more time in the lee of the mountains. Give me one more ride in Billy's boat. How we sang in the cabin. Oh, one more time with the wind in the rigging. One more time and the tide was rhythm. Give me one more ride in Billy's boat. How life was so carefree. One more time for Billy and Ruthie. One more time, just as long as there could be. Oh, one more ride in Billy's boat. One day Ruthie, she asked me, oh, one more time, was my life lost and empty? Oh, one more time, would you please give it to me? Oh, one more ride in Billy's boat. Now the night of the big wind. One more time she slipped from her mooring. One more time from the heart of the mainland. Give me one more ride in Billy's boat. Now the gulls sailed above me. One more time, pride for Billy and Ruthie. Oh, one more time, how I wish that there could be one more ride in Billy's boat. I remember the fair wind. One more time out among the islands. One more time in the lee of the mountains. Give me one more ride in Billy's boat. I remember the fair wind. One more ride in Billy's boat. Let's do it.
Bob, I remember when he was. I remember when he was here. He came to one of our jams, and he could hardly sing because of
Right.
his condition. Yeah, and he gave me one of his albums. It was really great.
He's good.
Yeah, Susan, you gonna do anything for us today? or
Not today, no.
Okay, then I guess that's Bob Winkler's chance. Okay, unmute Bob.
I think Pete Seeger wrote this the garden song. I'm looking forward
I'm getting
Yeah, we have a hum over here somewhere. Yeah, David is. I don't think it's David.
Bob, you're supposed to sing the songs, not hum along.
Wait, we don't have any.
David's unmuted.
So wait, we have a hum here. Who's causing the hum?
It's a bad sound. When you touch the mic, I heard the sound change. Mike.
Bob, it's your mic.
Let me just fool around with it here.
You got a hum over there. It's your mic, Bob. You just touch the mic and have.
Just messing around with it there. Still at home.
We can't hear you either.
Can't hear me.
Can't hear you. We can't hear the sound.
Why don't you come back to me after the next person?
Okay, we'll go to the next person, then we'll come back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next?
Who's next? Bill Pardon.
Bill Pardon. You're next.
Right. That happened to me last week. I still didn't know why. There we go. Yeah, talking of having bad memories and trying to remember things. There's another one that I had to relearn. I thought it was a easy way out of having something up my sleeve for St. Patrick's, because it's a song with very short verses and it's 50% refrain. But having gone to the trouble of trying to pick it up again, I don't know what happened, Paddy, this week. I finished up doing totally different stuff and didn't use anything. So anyway, this is a song which is always attributed to Brendan Behan. Although he didn't write it, it was written by, blimey, a fella called Dickie Shannon, who was a mate of Brendan Behan's, and Behan never ever claimed it as his own. He always attributed it to Dick Shannon, but it was used as the beginning to the Behan play The Quare Fella, and if I've got my dates right, all the rest will fit into place. That was 1954. Brendan Behan had actually performed this song a couple of years earlier, and I think the first time it was officially recorded was 3 or 4 years later by Dominic Behan, who was very well known on the sort of London and English folk scene and was a particularly legendary drinker. But that's another story. Songs based on the Mountjoy prison in Dublin, which was built alongside the Royal Canal, and there was within that prison, it was where Behan based the Quare Fellow on the fact that he was in Dublin, Mountjoy jail himself. And the main feature they noticed was the fact that they had this great metal triangle that they used to clang like mad. It would wake people up in the morning, and it had marked the passage of all the different routines in their day. So it was quite a noticeable thing when they were stuck in there. And yeah, if ever you were doing English literature, even though it was written by an Irishman, you could always gain brownie points by talking about the symbolic significance of the triangle, which I won't go into now. It's much too embarrassing. I'll just see if I can remember the song instead. That sounds all right. No, it don't. A hungry feeling came o'er me stealing, and the mice were squealing in my prison cell, and the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. To begin the morning, a screw was bawling, get up here, Bowsies, and clean up your cell. And the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. On a fine spring evening, the lag lay dreaming, the seagulls wheeling high over the wall, and the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. The lags were sleeping, Humpy Gussie was creeping, as I lay there weeping for my girl Sal, and the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. The wind was rising and the day declining, as I lay pining in my prison cell, and the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. In the female prison there are 75 women, and 'tis among them I wish I could dwell. And the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. The day was dying and the wind was sighing, as I lay crying in my prison cell, and the old triangle went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. Yes, the old triangle, it went jingle jangle all along the banks of the Royal Canal. That's it.
I just heard Ian Tyson do that on the radio yesterday, and he did on his 12 string.
Yeah. Bob, are you ready yet, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have Bob go, and then Anna or Ray will go after Bob. Okay. Everybody else, please mute.
So there's the problem.
Yeah.
Don't have a spare.
Okay, so try it with a regular microphone.
I usually have a spare, so I'm working the guitar and vocals off the same.
Okay.
I guess I'll be over at Guitar Center tomorrow. Anyway, so I hope this is balanced okay. Anyway, it's planting season here. Stuff's starting to grow. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and a picking stones, man is made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the needed music from the land. Plant your rows straight and long, temper them with a prayer and a song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. Old Grow watching hungrily from his perch in yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as that feathered leaf out there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Yes, someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Hope that came out okay.
Sounded fine, Bob.
Great balance. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Bob. Okay, Anna and Ray.
Okay, we're going to do, this is a song about my dad, who was a very, very kind, generous, happy, funny person, really a sweetheart. Although it turned out, and some of these things I didn't find out about until much later, that he went through some rough patches. He was fond of saying, 2 wrongs don't make a right. And that has sort of become part of my philosophy of life now. And so this song is called Two wrongs don't make a right.
His name was John, grew up in London as a baker's son, in the free museums all day long, as often as he could. Became a man when he was 13 and the war began. Joined the army, made a sergeant's rank, but was never sent abroad. His wisdom lives inside me now, as if he's by my side. Remember, if life knocks you down, two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right. A gentleman, quick to tell a joke or lend a hand, courage I would never understand until many years had passed. Redundancy, days he couldn't face reality. No one understood anxiety. Perhaps we're getting there at last. His wisdom lives inside me now, as if he's by my side. Remember, if life knocks you down, two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right. His wisdom lives inside me now, as if he's by my side. Remember, if life knocks you down, two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Very nice, Andy.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Correctly, that was an original, right?
Yes.
Okay, you got one more coming.
Splendid.
Right, we had a shipwreck song earlier that did not end well. This is a shipwreck song that is also kind of a metaphor for hope in a weird way, because in the story, the ship comes back up at the end of the song, and the song is all about not giving up whatever life throws at you. I can't remember whether we've done this here before. I think we probably have. It's called Mary Ellen Carter. It's written by a Canadian songwriter called Stan Rogers, the late and much lamented. And there's a line at the end of each verse and at the end of the chorus. There's a line that's something along the lines of "Make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again." So that's a good joiny-any bit.
She went down last October in close to 3 Mile Rock, and she was dealt her mortal blow, and the Mary Ellen Carter settled low. There was just us 5 aboard her when she finally was awash. We worked like hell to save her, all heedless of the cost, and the ground she gave us she went down. It caused us to proclaim that the Mary Ellen Carter would rise again. Rise again, rise again. Let her name not be lost to the knowledge of men. For those that loved her best and were with her till the end will make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Oh, the owners wrote her off, not a nickel would they spend. She gave 20 years of service, boys, then met her sorry end. But insurance paid the loss to us, so let her rest below. And they laughed at us and said we had to go. But we talked of her all winter, some days around the clock. She's worth $250,000 afloat in at the dock. And with every jaw that hit the bar, we swore we would remain and make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Rise again, rise again. Let her name not be lost to the knowledge of men. For those that loved her best and were with her till the end will make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. All spring now we've been with her on a barge lent by a friend. 3 dives a day in a hard hat suit, and twice I've had the bends. Thank God it's only 60 feet and the currents here are slow, or we'd never have the strength to go below. But we patched her ends and stopped her vents, docked hatch and poured her down, made cables to her fore and aft and girded her around. Tomorrow noon we hit the air and then take up the strain and make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Rise again, rise again. Let her name not be lost to the knowledge of men. Oh, those that loved her best and were with her till the end will make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. For we couldn't leave her there, you see, to crumble into scale. She'd saved our lives so many times, heading through the gale, and the laughing drunken rats who left her to a sorry grave, they won't be laughing in another day. And you to whom adversity has dealt the final blow, we're smiling bastards lying to you everywhere you go. Turn to and put out all your strength of arm and heart and brain, and like the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Rise again, rise again. Though your heart it be broken, your life about to end, no matter what you've lost, be it a home, a love, a friend, like the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Rise again, rise again. Though your heart it be broken, your life about to end, no matter what you've lost, be it a home, a love, a friend, like the Mary Ellen Carter rise again.
Oh, thank you for singing. Great. Love that song.
You know, I nearly always miss the last verse and come in on the wrong chorus. That chorus change in the last verse is a killer for me.
Okay. I believe, Lonnie, you're next.
Okay.
That's great.
I'm having a problem with my internet connection, but I'm sitting here in the middle of an ultra modern AV studio, so I record this, and if it goes out, you will have the option of me posting it. So that's a fair warning. Stay off the internet if I do this song. All right. Anyway, I really enjoyed Bill Pardon's song about Mountjoy Jail in Dublin. There's a lot of songs about the Mountjoy Jail in Dublin, because evidently so many people got to spend wonderful time there. Anyway, Brendan Behan's always been a favorite of mine, because he certainly was among Dublin's most colorful characters, if nothing else. And that song really goes back there. But I also have an allegorical song here, and this one is called Raglan Road, which is an allegory of meeting a girl who ends up not being the right one, and also any other endeavor into which you thrust yourself and goes somehow agley. So anyway, this is a song called Raglan Road, and I'm going to do this on the keyboard as well, because I just got a hold of some really nice Celtic and medieval instruments that one can play on the keyboard. So I'm addicted to this thing, but I'm going to do Raglan Road for you right now. On Raglan Road of an autumn day, I saw her first and knew that her dark hair would weave a snare that I might one day woo. I saw the danger and I passed along the enchanted way, and I said, let grief be a fallen leaf at the dawning of the day. On Grafton Street in November, we tripped lightly along the ledge of a deep ravine where can be seen the worth of passion's play. The Queen of Hearts still making tarts, and I not making hay. Oh, I loved too much, and by such is happiness thrown away.
I gave her gifts of the mind. I gave her the secret signs that's known to the artists who have known the gods of sound and stone, and words intended without stint. I gave her poems to say, with her own name there and her own dark hair, like clouds over fields of May. On a quiet street where her old ghosts meet, I see her walking now. Away from me so hurriedly, my reason must allow that I had loved not as I should, a creature made of clay. When the angel goes, the clay he'll lose his wings at the dawn of day. And there you have it.
Thank you. Really sounded great. Who is causing the echo again? Okay. Anyway, Debbie and Ron, I think you're next, right? Should be.
Okay, I've actually been known to play the fiddle and sing at the same time. Thankfully, not too often, but I must admit, I've never heard anybody sing and play the flute at the same time. I'm impressed.
Wait, wasn't it a penny whistle? It was great, Lonnie.
But I got to say, I'm aware of the fact that I'm always whining about the fact that Bob and Susan are always snitching our songs from us. But
we do it to them too.
But they did not do that today. You can only imagine my chagrin when Jerry stole my thunder with his. He gave a shout out to David Jones about remembering songs, which has always been like one of the blackest evils in my life. But I can't claim that I can't remember them like I used to, because I never used to be able to remember anything. And now I can actually remember some stuff. But the thing is, when you're on Zoom, you can put the words in front of you.
Yes.
David, and nobody's going to know that you're reading the cheat sheet.
Right.
That's the biggest thing about Zooms.
Yes. Very helpful.
Anyway, we're going to zoom into this one. It's in line with the Great Resignation. We have a song here. I've been working in this factory for now on 15 years. The whole time I watched my woman drowning in a pool of tears. I seen a lot of good folks die that had a lot of bills to pay. I give the shirt right off of my back if I had the nerve to say, take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. The woman I left took all the reason I've been working for. You better not try to send it my way as I'm walking out the door. Take this job and shove it. I ain't working get the nerve to say, take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. A woman done left, it's work all the reason I ain't working for. You better not try to stand in my way as I'm walking out the door. Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Take this job and shove it. Your job too.
Oh, yes, well,
Okay.
we are very happily retired for a long time. Okay. All right, this,
All right, I'm going to play my special octave mandolin for this one.
on his bass. Okay, we've got a Phil Oak song from 1963.
I don't have to worry about
Okay, good for today, unfortunately. Show me the prison, show me the jail, show me the prisoner whose face is growing pale, and I'll show you a young man with so many reasons why. There, but for fortune, may go you or I, you or I. Show me the alley, show me the train, show me a hobo who sleeps out in the rain, and I'll show you the young man with so many reasons why. There but for fortune may go you or I, you or I. Show me the whiskey stains on the floor. Show me the drunkard as he stumbles out the door. And I'll show you the young man with so many reasons why. There but for fortune may go you or I, you or show me the country where the bombs had to fall. Show me the ruins of the buildings once so tall. And I'll show you the young man with so many reasons why. There but for fortune may go you or I, you or
Was that
There but for fortune.
Yeah. Okay,
was
David.
that Phil
you're
Oak?
Phil
Huh?
Oak.
Yes. Phil Oaks, yeah. Okay, David, you're on. Don't mute. You're on now.
Oh, okay. Well, I always like that song. Great song. This is a song by John Tams. And John Tams, apart from lots of other stuff, put the music together for the show Warhorse. Most of the songs were adapted traditional songs, and there was a few that he wrote himself. And this is a song he wrote, not for Warhorse, but for, I think, for another show. And it's called Pull Down Lads, and it's about the carnival workers. When they're packing up at the end of the season for the carnival, they've got to pack all the stuff up, pull down the tents and stack the dodgem cars and all the rest of it, and say goodbye to each other. And in our small town of Leone, we have an annual carnival, and we see the carnival workers come. And I think carnival workers are an international breed. Wherever you go, the carnival workers are really the same guys. And the people are saying, well, what are we going to do with the carnival? Where are we going to put them? But anyway, this is called, this is the last day. I think it's a gem of a song anyway. And John Tams is just out of sight, really. Pull down, lads, pass the bevy round, lads, ta-ra-ta Sylvie, ta-ra-ta Jean, we'll soon be on the road. Don't think on what you're leaving, don't think on what you found. Just tear off the tilt, pull out the chaff, we'll find another ground. Pull down, lads, it wasn't a bad ground, lads. We've made some brass, you found a lass. It's perhaps as well we're going. I know how it can hurt, lads, to leave her standing there. For there's often fears and always tears. But you'll be back next year. Pull down, lads, the sets are cooling down, lads, the ox all packed and the dodgeon stacked, a bite of strand then go. We'll leave it as we found it, they'll soon forget we've been. For we trade in fun, and we go and come. We're often scorned, but seldom mourned. And I hope you know what I mean. There you go.
It looks like it's my turn again. Okay, I'm going to do the penultimate. Jerry, you ready to do the ultimate after I'm done? Okay, and remember next week, same login as we had today. We had a wonderful crowd today. Let's hope we can see you again next week. Okay, one of my favorite, when I lived up north, one of my favorite folk festivals was the Seaport, Mystic Seaport, the Sea Music Festival. I got to meet some very fine people like Stan Hugel. I mean, it was great to know Stan and speak to him personally. And also, like Tommy Macon and Liam Clancy, normally when they perform in Carnegie Hall, now you can't just go up and say, how are you? You got the security guards. But at a place like Mystic, you can go up and you can talk to them at length, which was a wonderful experience for me. Okay, now this year I understand actually COVID killed the festival, and the Mystics said they don't want the festival back anymore. They're just worried about dollars, and the festival really isn't a money-making thing. So two of the volunteers who were at Mystic, Bonnie Milner and her husband Dan, decided to take over and move the festival to Essex, which was the hometown of Bob and Susan, which is a beautiful town, and they're going to perform in different parts of the town. And it's going to be the same weekend, the second weekend in June. And so anybody who's up north, that's something you'll want to go and see. All the same cast of characters that were at Mystic are going to be there. One of them was a guy by the name of Jerry Bryant, who actually had never written a song in his life. He was actually a New York City school teacher, but a man who was very, very well versed in the history of the sea. Jerry wrote only one song, and he wrote it because he read of an event that took place in 1900. And it took 85 years for somebody to recognize it. It was a monumental feat that nobody had accomplished before. And it was two people who crossed the Atlantic Ocean from New York City to Le Havre, France, in a rowboat. And the name was Harbo and Samuelson. This is a true story. And the song he wrote was based on this ballad. Originally, when he first sang it, it was very long because he sang the chorus after each verse, and it took forever. But now today, in the interest of brevity, we sing the chorus after only every 5 verses. The verses are very short, it's a very fast-moving song. The chorus goes like this. We'll see you in France, or we'll see you in heaven, cried Harbo and Samuelson out on the bay. 2 hardy young oystermen after adventure, and no one believed they could row all the way. Okay, you'll hear it a few times, so you'll get to know it. Here's the story as Jerry wrote it. In Brooklyn, New York, at the turn of the century, lived 2 young Norwegians, so brave and so bold. Frank Samuelson, only halfway through his 20s. George Harbo had just become 30 years old. Now Harbo had spent all his life on the water. He shipped in square riggers when only a lad. His partner likewise was no stranger to working. No matter the task, he gave all that he had. That year a rich publisher offered a challenge that men in a vessel, no matter the size, couldn't cross the Atlantic without steam or canvas. $10,000 he named as a prize. Now dredging up oysters by hand is no picnic, and these 2 Norwegians were tough as a whip. Says Frank, if we row only 4 miles an hour, in 54 days we could finish the trip. We'll see you in France, or we'll see you in heaven, cried Harbo and Samuelson out on the bay. 2 hardy young oystermen after adventure, and no one believed they could row all the way. Obtaining a sponsor, they started their training. They ordered a dory of cedar and oak, just 18 feet long, with a draft of 8 inches, and Fox was the name of their cockle-shell boat. On the 6th day of June, 1896, Messrs. Harbo and Samuelson started to row. They took for food and water to last until August, and the newspapers said they were foolish to go. We'll see you in France, or we'll see you in heaven, cried Harbo and Samuelson out on the bay. 2 hardy young oystermen after adventure, and no one believed they could row all the way. From the slips of Manhattan they rode through the Narrows, out onto the Gulf Stream and over the deep. Each day they would row 18 hours together. At night they took turns getting 3 hours sleep. Their stove wouldn't light, so they ate cold provisions. Their arms and their legs became swollen and cramped. The odd passing vessel that took them on board was their only relief from the cold and the damp. Then out on the Grand Banks the weather attacked them. The wind humped the water into mountainous waves. They lashed down their oars shores and tied up their lifelines and prayed they were not going straight to their graves. We'll see you in France or we'll see you in heaven, cried Harbo and Samuelson out on the bay. Two hardy young oystermen after adventure, and no one believed they could row all the way. Then out of the dark came a monstrous wave, capsizing the Fox and her terrified crew. Their lifelines held fast, but they lost half their water, and most of their food it was swept away too. They carefully rationed the little remaining, praying for help as they rode o'er the brine. Then out in the distance they spied a tall ship, with the colors of Norway a-floating behind. The captain could not be convinced they weren't crazy, but he gave them supplies and they went on their way. By the lines on their charts they were halfway to Europe, but now they must row 60 miles every day. We'll see you in France or we'll see you in heaven, cried Harbo and Samuelson out on the bay. Two hardy young oystermen after adventure, and no one believed they could row all the way. The weather held fair and the two men kept pulling all through each long day and far into each night. Then early one morning before the sun rose, out on the horizon they spotted a light. On August the 1st they made land off St. Mary's on the south coast of England just by Bishop's Rock. In amazement the town folks gathered down by the water, where Harbo and Samuelson barely could walk. Most men would have stopped then and passed.
You're muted, Saul.
Can't hear you, Saul.
Come on, Saul.
Saul, you are muted. We can't hear you.
I don't know how that happened. What was the last thing you heard? Do you remember the story? Were they in England yet?
Yes.
They were in England. Okay.
Yeah, they could hardly walk.
St.
St. Mary's.
Okay, so most men would have stopped then and basked in the glory after having been sunbeaten, capsized and starved. But they were both back in their boat the next morning, and in less than a week they arrived at the Havre. We'll see you in France or we'll see you in heaven, cried Harbo and Samuelson out on the bay. Two hardy young oystermen after adventure, and no one believed they could row all the way. So those of you listening who yearn for adventure, like Harbo and Samuelson so long ago, let them be prepared for the task you are facing. They were not only brave, but by God they could row. We'll see you in France or we'll see you in heaven, cried Harbo and Samuelson out on the bay. Two hardy young oystermen after adventure, and no one believed they could row all the way. Jerry Bryant. Basically. What was that? Huh? Somebody asked.
There was a singer named Dwayne Thorpe. You might remember him.
Yes.
And Dwayne had a song about that, about a guy who set out to row across the Atlantic, but he didn't get very far because he forgot to untie his boat.
That was great. Okay. Thanks
I
for
wrote
being
a song
with me.
by Bob Manry and Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell, yeah. Okay, thank you so much for bearing with me. And Jerry, please take us out, okay?
Okay. I try to, I'm an obsessive list maker, so I write down everything I do, so I try not to repeat or not repeat too often. I don't think I've ever done this. I don't even know if I've ever done this song, period, but Carl did this song some time back, and it reminded me that the song existed. This is a song that was written by Jerry Jeff Walker. And it's one of those songs that's got a line in it that's just stunningly interesting and beautiful. And there are some songs that are just built around these lines that kill you, like in the song Wichita Lineman. And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. That's like, oh my God, that's a winner. Well, this one has a winner in it too. You'll see how it goes. Little bird, come sit upon my windowsill. Sat there through the falling rain. As I watched that bird upon my windowsill, I saw my thoughts of you go by again. And the picture of my face reflected on the pane. Is it tears I see, or is it rain? I remember how we talked before we said goodbye. Too young to know the world outside our door. And now the miles of time have built a wall, my love. I know I try, I just can't tear it down. The picture of my face reflected on the pane. Is it tears I see, or is it rain? No regrets about the past, there's nothing I can change. Life's a road we walk just one way down. And looking back, I do recall that frame of time when the world was love and time was just a thought. And the picture of my face reflected on the pane. Is it tears I see, or is it rain? Many things go many ways, your force of life is such. We all must pick that road of life to walk. And age gives off old memories like hand notes in a log, where the world is time and love is just a thought. And the picture of my face reflected on the pane. Is it tears I see, or is it rain? As my thoughts go tumbling back, I wonder how you look. I wonder if you've seen that little bird. I wonder if he sat upon your windowsill. I wonder if you'll ever hear these words. And the picture of my face reflected on the pane. Is it tears I see, or is it rain? The picture of my face reflected on the pane. Is it tears I see, or is it rain?
With that, we bring us to the conclusion. A real wonderful day. We had a good selection. I love you all. You did a good job. We'll see you next week. Same time, same station, same login. You'll be reminded. Send the email. I'll remind you again. Good night. Sleep tight.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Hi.
Happy birthday.